friends, how are you? I'm going to do the best I can. Unfortunately, we were not able to live stream from the Patrick Smith account, but what I'm going to do is do this here on Everybody Loves Sammy, and then we're going to save it, and then we're going to upload it to Patrick Smith either later or in a few days. I really don't know. I have the 4 small ones here. I'm going to start out saying hello with everybody. As you can see, Sammy's here, Baby Lady, Romeo, and Henry in the back doing his happy dance. Henry, do your happy. That's his happy dance. He's thrilled to be here. He's thrilled to be back with you guys. Henry's one of the original, if you remember, with Sammy. Henry just jumped off the bed. So what I'm going to do is just take it back to March 28th, which was a Thursday when I landed in Miami. The few days before that, the logistics that had to be taken regarding getting all the dogs situated, right? Because I only brought Baby Lady, Sammy right here, and Henry with me. Romeo I had actually adopted out before I left, as you know, and then I had to find boarding for Lucky, Rocky, and Polar Bear. So the logistics to getting out of Puerto Rico and making sure we stuck together was kind of incomprehensible, actually. And to my credit, I did not know that I could take multitasking to that level, but it was very overwhelming. When I landed in Miami on Thursday, March 28th, 2019, I actually went on an interview on Friday, March 29th. Was offered the job. This was in advertising sales, but I was in such disarray and so, like, you know, I don't want to say delusional. I was in shock and just like, I was in a fog, you know what I mean? I was in a fog. So I didn't take the job, and then I was kind of like in a fog for the next 4 or 5 weeks while in Miami. I figured the first month, even though I was interviewing, around month 2, I did land the job and started getting into the everyday swing of things. I'm going to introduce the dogs in a minute. I'm just catching you up on what's going on here. So eventually I started getting back into the day-to-day routine of life. I had Sammy, Baby Lady, and Henry with me. And I started worrying, am I going to get the big dogs over here? And I just got them back, as you know. When did I get them back? I think it was not this Thursday night, the Thursday before. So I guess 10 days ago I've had them back now. We're in the new house. This is our little setup. This is an air mattress, and I set this up just so you could get to see all the dogs. Sammy's going nuts because he wants to be with me. Here's Sammy. Come on, buddy. Don't be camera shy. Buddy, here he goes. Come on. Okay, so here's Sammy.
Somebody say, I'm glad you are back.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna, just friends, so you know, I'm gonna promote this probably for 2 weeks. I'm gonna make sure it's seen by at least 25,000 people in our community, because as we know, Facebook with their algorithms, they don't really show everything.
I love Sammy, says Samantha.
Sila, thank you very much, whoever said that. Sammy, come here, look at us. All right, so here's Sammy. He's 14 años, and he's been with me since 2005. Buddy, where's the smile? Buddy. All right, so let me bring you Henry now. This is Henry, the soldier of love. Here's Henry. Henry is 10 years old now, and for all my new friends out there, I call Henry the soldier of love. And the reason is because Henry thinks about everyone else before himself. And as I've said before in writing and in some of the audios we've done, Henry and I kind of have a pact. When the other dogs are happy, we're happy, right? He's camera shy. So there, Sammy, come over here. Now you're smiling, and he's off camera, he's smiling. Come here, buddy. Okay, Henry, do the happy dance. All right, there's his happy dance. Okay, let me just take a drink of water. This is our first live show, if you will, so Bear with me. My mother's in the other room making sure Rocky doesn't run out here and wreck the house. I will bring him out later. The people that are here with me, they're going to step outside the house because, you know, Rocky could be a little temperamental. So this is Romeo. Okay? Now, you guys know Romeo. I rescued him in Puerto Rico. Actually, my friend Keishla rescued him in Puerto Rico, and then I took over the case. And if you remember, I adopted him out before I left for Miami. And for 4 months, I'm in Miami with my 3 little dogs, thinking I would never see him again. And then this young woman, Stephanie, that I gave him to, decided to give him back to me. And I really appreciate the care that Stephanie and her family and her kids gave to Romeo at that time. And here we are. Romeo is a little heartbreaker. I call him Mookie, so you know. I don't even call him Romeo anymore because he's a little mook. He's always like with his hands. He's always like, gimme, 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 gimme. And so I call him, look, in English we call that a mooch, right? When somebody's always wanting something and leeching off you, we call it a mooch. But that's not really a nice word, so I turned it into Mookie. And now he's the mook. Mookie. Mookie. Everybody's so shy with the camera. Mookie. So Mookie's about 3.5. He's about 3.5 years old. And as you can see, in his right eye, he can't see out of his right eye. I believe he's blind in his right eye. I don't know what happened because when I left him in Puerto Rico, he had a slight cataract, but it appeared to have gotten much worse. Romeo, what's going on, buddy? I mean, he is the sweetest. Let me see if I put him on the bed, if he'll act a little more. Romeo, come on. Do your little... Come on, do your little Romeo. Come on, buddy. See, he'll do this little, see, with his paws. That's his little thing. I call him the mook. Okay, so that's what's going on with them. Now I'm going to bring out Baby Lady. Last time you guys saw Baby Lady was in October of 2018. That was 2 months after Patrick was killed. If you remember, my good friend Anita Burgos adopted Baby Lady out to me, and that was the last video that I did in October of 2018. So it's been about 11 months since we've been on video together, and that last video, if you remember, is where I talked about my life with Patrick being killed, animal rescue in Puerto Rico, and then I introduced Baby Lady at that time, and even the late great Patrick Swayze, if you remember, did a cameo in that video. So I'm just giving you a perspective on when the last time we all spoke was. Sam, you want to come over here now that you're smiling off the camera? Come over here. Okay, so to all my new friends out there, if you're coming into this video late, it's okay. You can always go back to the beginning and see the whole thing. And as I said, I'm going to be promoting this video in a big way. I'm going to make sure at least 25,000 to 50,000 people see it. Because, like I said before, Facebook doesn't show our posts to the whole community. It's unfortunate I wasn't able to post it on Patrick Smith wall tonight, because that's very active as well, but I'm hoping many of you are making the move over here to Everybody Loves Sammy tonight to see it. So I just want to mention a couple of things. A lot of you know me from different places. If you remember, I did create the Everybody Loves Sammy online community. I did create the Dr. Harp Seal community, which is DR period, next word HARP, next word Seal, SEAL. Dr. Harp Seal is an animal advocacy character that I created. I do a lot of my heavy writing. You can go to that Facebook page, Dr. Harp Seal. And you could also listen to, if you choose to, the 55 tracks that I laid down on Dr. Harp Seal on SoundCloud. Now, a lot of you know me from the dogs, but a lot of the animal advocacy work that I did, which is known around the world, for example, where is the Geneva Convention for Animals? This is something I wrote and recorded in 2013. The Geneva Convention, as you know, is something that was created in July of 1929, which was basically an agreement between countries that if they ever take prisoners of war, that they would not torture them. So it led me to the point of, well, where is the Geneva Convention for Animals? Because it was weird to me that our enemies get treated better than animals do. Many of you have many of you have heard that recording, but if you'd like to hear it, it's on SoundCloud under the Dr. Hart Seal account, and it's called Where is the Geneva Convention for Animals? And it did raise the bar in terms of animal welfare and was said in a way that has never been said before. Looking back, it is one of the most powerful animal advocacy messages I ever delivered. The second one that I did back in 2013 that you may not remember is called the Second Amendment from the Perspective of an Animal. Now, in the Second Amendment, which we know is the right to bear arms and many other things that it says, it doesn't mention the word animals once. The word animals is not in the Second Amendment at all, yet animals take the biggest brunt of the Second Amendment. And I wrote and recorded that in 2013. You can also find that on Dr. Hart Seal on SoundCloud under the Dr. Hart Seal account. Now, moving forward to January 14, 2018, I created the Drive with Compassion movement in Puerto Rico. That was as a result of a rescue of mine on December 30th, 2017, right coming into 2018 when I rescued that dog Levi, who got hit by a car, was left for dead on the street, was paralyzed, and you all know the story. And eventually Levi made his way to a very nice family in Wisconsin. Sadly, 7 to 8 months later, my Patrick was killed in August of 2018 by the very movement I created in January of 2014. A lot of you have mentioned, is this Patrick tattoo really a sticker or a painting? It is not. It's permanent, as you can see, and I'm proud to wear it. Being Patrick's father was the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. I still have 7 dogs, but you know I love Patrick more than any of them, and I love my dogs like crazy. But I had that thing with Patrick, so I have to wear his name as a badge of honor. I also have it on my arm here with the cross. You know that. I also have Patrick's name across the cross. So I am fully engulfed in Patrick, to say the least. Now, what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to bring the big dogs in. Don't worry, Andrea, I'm going to put the small dogs away. My friends here are going to step outside. No, you're going to go out this way. And then I'm going to bring the big dogs out because I want you to meet one of the greatest dogs in the history of the world. Andrea, do you want to say hello or not really?
Hello.
That's Andrea. She's my videographer. Juan, you want to say hello or no? Hold on, Andrea. Hold on a second. Juan, come on. You don't want to say hi? Okay. All right, you guys can step out. Okay. But you have your phone so you can watch it from outside, right? Yes. This way you can know when the big dogs are back. Okay. Friends, stay right here. I'm gonna here, baby lady, I'm gonna leave you here. Friends, stay right here. I gotta move certain dogs in other rooms. Stay right here. How beautiful is baby lady, by the way? This is baby lady. I forgot to mention her. She is the one that I rescued in September of 2018. Stop it. And I rescued her a month after Patrick was killed. I'm going to bring you close so you can see her. Here's baby lady. I call her baby Lou. I call her Lou. I call her Lube. I call her Lou Doob. All these crazy shit. Pardon, can we curse on Facebook? Love her like a crazy man. Okay, Sammy, I gotta put you away for a minute so I can bring the big dogs out. All right, up here. Up, come on up. Get up here. Get on the bed. Okay. So here's Polar Bear. Lucky, I've been talking about you for a long time. Come over here. Now, Lucky and Polar Bear just got here 6 months ago. This is, when I tell you, probably the greatest dog in the history of the world. This is the Wolverine. His name used to be Lucky. Mom, come say hello. No, it's too late. They saw you. Come out. Come over here. Sit down. Sit down. All right, so my mother decided to come out here. She used to look like Elizabeth Taylor. I'm not sure that's the case anymore.
No,
But
I look like her dog.
you don't? No, don't say that. All right, Mom, say hello to my friends.
Hi, how are you?
This is Joanne Smith. I don't know if you people remember this from a long time ago. She was part of the June Taylor Dancers in Queens. How many years ago was that?
100.
100 years ago. Lucky, come here. So, this is Lucky. Now, remember, I had not seen him in 6 months. You know how crazy I am, parents. And during Hurricane Maria, if you remember, I launched a relief fund for stray animals in Puerto Rico. And it was called the Lucky in Love Relief Fund for stray animals in Puerto Rico and around the world. He is the love of my life. I created a term for him called I love you. I love him like a crazy potato. You guys have heard me say that before? I love all my dogs like a crazy potato, but it originally started with him. And I know that doesn't make sense, but remember, love doesn't have to make sense. That's why it's so grandiose. Lucky, good boy. So, anyway, Lucky, I rescued him on May 10th, 2017. It was an ordinary Wednesday night. I was going to this bakery called Lemmy's in Toa Baja, Puerto Rico. And it was 8 o'clock, and I'm just sitting there having a tuna sandwich, and I turn outside, and I'm looking out the window, and I'm like, wow, that dog is alone. He's on the main boulevard. You know, it was a bad scene. I thought he was going to get hurt. I went out there and I fed him, and then I basically took over his life, had him boarded for a while, and you know, eventually, you know, we took him in at the time, but he is just a remarkable dog, and you know, I know Hugh Jackman gets the credit for being the Wolverine, but that's Hollywood. He's the real Wolverine. Think about Hugh Jackman's face. Hugh Jackman, right? Deleted. Wolverine right here. Okay, so this is a Sato that was named Lucky, who turned into the Wolverine. All right, he is a real life gladiator, and his name is Wolverine. He's called. Yeah, he can jump. I mean, I have an island kitchen here. You guys saw the picture last week. He can jump standing up in standstill position on the island table. Anyway, I told you that it's getting boring. Polar bear. Wait! Come over here. Okay. Polar bear, this is an interesting story. I told you I was tracking several dogs in Toa Baja in Puerto Rico. It was around 11 p.m., it was on a weekend, and he was laying there. Him and 4 other dogs like him, I guess from the same litter. They were about 11 months at the time. He was about 1.5 years old now. And there was this, I don't know if he was homeless, I had seen him around a lot. He was drinking all the time, pulling all-nighters and just crashing in the streets. Not in the streets, on the sidewalk. He'd be laying there, you know, passed out and drunk. I'm not criticizing him for that. I'm just describing you the scene. And there was this one night he was laying drunk on the sidewalk, and he had 4 dogs hugging him and surrounding him, and quiet. While it was very sad, it was also moving at the same time. So Polar Bear all of a sudden gets up from this man that he's laying down with, and Polar Bear, hey, come here. Come over here. Get over here. And all of a sudden, come here. Look at this. All of a sudden, he starts following me. He just left the 3 other dogs and the man that he was hugging that was drunk on the street. And I'm like, wow, I have a lot of dogs ready, but he's following me. It's 11:30 p.m. You know what? I'm just going to let him keep following me. He followed me all the way home. And I said, you know what? I'm keeping him. And, and that's what I did. And he, like Lucky and Rocky, who's in the other room, the three of them, I had to leave in Puerto Rico the last 6 months. I want to give a big shout out to my friend Mara and her and her daughter. I call her a young lady. She's a young adult. But Mara Fort, she took care of my dogs for 4 straight months. I mean, yes, I was compensating her, but what I'm saying is it was a very big job. And not many people stepped up to do it. Thank you for peeing on my sheets. So,
God.
anyway, like I said, when you have 7 dogs, do not dare do that, polar bear. So, yeah, so they just peed on my sheets. But fortunately, I don't sleep out here. The point is, though, and I originally, the 3 of them, Lucky, Rocky, and Polar Bear, I left with Samare. She's the one that was helping me with Levi at the time. Levi, the dog that got hit, I was working with her at the time. But Samare kept them for the first month. And also, I want to give a shout out to Abdiel, because he kept Rocky, because Samare could only take Lucky and Polar Bear. And Abdiel stepped up for Rocky, which was a more complicated case. But after 2 months, Mara and her daughter came and got all 3 of my dogs, brought them together, and they were finally reunited. So that's how they were the last 4 months, total of 6 months before they got to Miami just 10 days ago. So this is Rocky. Hey. Okay, so this is Rocky. He can be a little temperamental because he just, stop it! No! Rocky could be a little temperamental, but he's a very sweet dog. Mom, if you sit here, he'll be calm. Please sit here.
Okay.
And call his name.
Come over here, Rocky.
Sit down. Sit
Come
down.
over here right now. That's a good boy.
He loves my mother. He's in love with her. Watch.
Okay? Sit with me.
Rocky!
Good boy. Sit with
So
me.
this is Rocky.
Come here, sweetheart. Oh.
Okay, now, I'm going to tell you a quick story, and then, I'm going to move to wrap this up because we can do this again. It's kind of complicated. Mom, have him come up here.
Come up here, Rocky. Get up.
I want him to stay near you so he's in the camera.
All right, come here, Rocky. Come on. Sit
Okay,
here.
real quick.
Come over
The
here.
story with Rocky. As you can see, he's a pit bull, the hardest thing in the world is to be a stray animal in Puerto Rico, or the other islands. It's very difficult. He was about a year old. Excuse me a second. I said stop it. He was about a year old, and it was a random Thursday on November 19th, 2015. And I went out for a walk with, sadly, the late Patrick at that time, Sammy and Henry. Sammy and Henry are still with us. But the point is, all of a sudden, this pit bull, Rocky, just started walking near us, and I'm like, wow, this is a little concerning. So I'm walking in the park, and Rocky comes up to us. I'm like, wow, this is a little concerning for my small dogs, whatever. He was big, skinny, I could tell sick, and he just kept following us. I'm like, this is kind of weird. And eventually we stopped, and he came right up to us and sat down. And I was like, wow, that is really remarkable, considering I didn't know it was going to happen. So far it was a peaceful encounter, but after a couple of minutes I realized that this is a 1-year-old dog who's frail, emaciated, probably hasn't eaten in a while. He had huge ticks in his ears, these huge ticks all over his body. And I said to myself, forget that he's a pit bull and all this bullshit, pardon my language, hysteria about pit bulls. It's all about how you treat them. But the point is, as a stray dog in the street in Puerto Rico who happens to be a pit bull, no chance of being adopted. Basically no chance. And he was sitting there with us very peacefully, and I realized that he was just 1 years old. Forget that he could have been big and strong. He looked that way even though he was skinny. But I said to myself, what he had been saying to me was, in dog language, by sitting there with us, he was saying to me that I can't make it out here on my own anymore. I have no idea what to do. And that's why he was following me and the 3 little dogs around the park very peacefully. And when we stopped, he just sat down with us because he really had no idea. how to handle the world anymore. He was at the end. He was physically starved. He had ticks all over him. For all intents and purposes, he probably would have been dead in a few weeks. So I went and put the 3 small dogs in the house, and I came outside, I sat with them, I'm like, wow, this is really heartbreaking. And I put him in boarding for like a week or 2 while I figured it out, and eventually I took him home. And he was also part of the crew that I had to leave behind for 6 months, 3 of them, right? Rocky, Lucky, and Polar Bear. But we're all back together now. And we are obviously being in Miami without Patrick is unfathomable, unthinkable, and for the things that happened, reprehensible. But anyway, Rocky sees them at the door. So look, I obviously this, you know, when you have 7 dogs, you just got to wing a lot of this shit. There's a lot of things that I wanted to say that I'm not going to do tonight. We'll do it at another time. This is my first Facebook Live, and Mom, you did pretty good. I mean, she doesn't even do regular Facebook posts. Now she's live. I'm going to make sure this post is seen by at least 25,000 to 50,000 people. And if I can, my crew here, my friends now, we're going to try to get it downloaded in a file and then just upload it to the Patrick Smith account and do this right. I'm sorry that I was not able to stream from both accounts. I had a choice at that point to go with the Patrick Smith or the Everybody Loves Sammy. I decided to choose Everybody Loves Sammy. Why? Because I can boost this post from this account. I can't from the Patrick Smith account. So again, if you just came in, feel free to, don't think you missed the dogs. You could just rewind and go to the beginning. But look, here we are 6 months later, we're back together. We're very similar to the Brady Bunch if you think about it, right? The Brady Bunch had parents and 6 kids. Well, I'm me and 7 dogs, so 8 and 8. Different, but kind of like the Brady Bunch, if you will.
Oh my God, look at this.
All right, nothing but love here. Friends, I am going to wrap it up. I will see you out there on the platforms. I hope you enjoyed this. I did the best I could considering the circumstances. Nobody got killed, and that's a good thing.